Hola, players. Well, you are now into Module 4, Lesson 4, and we are dealing with multi-digit decimal division. So now we are not only multiplying, adding, subtracting, the easy stuff. We've done division. We've gone back through and kind of reminded ourselves how to do long division with big numbers, and now we are going to throw decimals in with the division. Now, if I am dividing a decimal by a whole number, this is pretty easy. Remember, your decimal is just going to go up into your answer from the vernaculum, which is the little house line that you draw for the decimal point. Your decimal point just goes straight up into your answer. But what we got to watch for is when we have a decimal divided by another decimal, like in this first problem here. When we do that, we have to take into account both decimals because you can't really divide by a decimal. So in order to do so, you need to make your decimal a whole number, which means multiplying it by some power of 10. But when you do that to your divisor, you're also going to have to do it to your dividend. Because remember, a decimal is just like a fraction. If you do it to the bottom, you do it to the top. So all that to say, when you are dealing with a decimal inside and outside of the vernaculum, the one on the outside has to become a whole number, which means you're going to have to change the one inside by moving the decimal point the same number of spaces as you do on the outside to make your whole number. We'll try this out with the first problem and see how you do. So our first problem here today says the taxi driver fills the gas tank and calculates that the car travels 356.25 miles using 9.5 gallons of gas. How many miles per gallon does the car get? So, of course, this is going to be a division problem, right? So think through how you're going to set this up. And then think through, what did I just say? What do you need to do to that decimal point for your divisor before you start working through this problem using long division? Okay, go ahead and try that out. I want you to try it. Give me your answer from the answers that will pop up on the screen here in just a second, and let's see how you do. All right, you guys ready to work this through? Here we go. All right, let me turn my fancy magical pen on and turn my pen on the page. All right, here we go. So we've got 356.25 miles and 9.5 gallons of gas. And we want miles per gallon. So I'm going to take my miles and divide it by the number of gallons. So this should be pretty easy, right? So I've got my number of gallons, and I'm going to divide my total miles by that through 350. Oh, Mr. Lambert, come on. Can't really do that. Here, let me erase here. Get back in. 9.5 and 356.25. Okay, now remember, we cannot have a number on the outside. Our divisor cannot be a decimal. We have to make it into a whole number. So I'm going to take this 0.5, the decimal point, and I'm going to move it back one spot, basically multiplying everything outside the house or vernaculum by a power of 10. So that becomes 95. I can do that because on the inside, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move this decimal point one spot over. So now my decimal point is going to be right here between my 2 and my 5. And now I can just take it up into my answer. My decimal points suck with my pen, so sorry about that. And now I can deal with this just like regular long division. So now I can just try to figure out how many times 95 goes into 35. Well, it can't. Can it go into 356? It can. We just got to figure out how many times. Now, 95 is really close to 100. 356 is between 3 and 400. I don't think we're going to get 4 times out of I don't think we're going to be able to get close enough to 400 with 356. So let's try 3 times here. See what happens. So I'm just going to do now multiplication, just like we would with any old other long division problem. So 3 times 5 would give us 15. Carry my 1 up there. 3 times 9 is 27 plus 1 gives me 28. And let's make sure we get less than 95 when we subtract here. That's going to be a 1. I get to borrow here, so at least we don't have 100 there. That's pretty good news. And 15 minus 8 is going to be 7. So I get 71 as my leftover. That is good. That is kosher. We can deal with that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to drop that 2 down just like normal. I got 712. 95 into 712. Now 95 is pretty close to 100 again, so I'm going to guess 7 times. 5 times 7 then will be 35. Carry my 3 over. And 6 times 9 is 63 plus 3 more would give me 66. Subtract this out. Have to do a little fancy work here. do some by run. 12 minus 5 would be 7. And 10 minus 6 would be 4. 47 is less than 95. So we are still doing okay, and we're going to drop this 5 down. 475. Now, 95 into 475, I'm guessing we're going to be close to 5 times, and I think that's going to actually be perfect because I know 5 times 5 is 25, and that would be 500 minus 25 should be 475, but let's double check. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry our 2 up. 5 times 9 is 45 plus 2 more makes 47, so we are good in the hood. We've got 37.5 as our answer. There you go. Now, if you made a mistake on this, I'm guessing either A, you just had a problem with the long division, or B, you maybe got 3.75 or 375 as your answer. So remember, that decimal point, we still have to take account of it, and we can't use a decimal as our divisor. You've got to change that into a whole number by moving the decimal point, but you got to do it to your dividend as well. So 37.5 will be your answer for this one. Let me double check the book. Yeah, I'm good. I'm the best. Go ahead and clear the screen here, and we'll move on to our next one. There's my mouse. All right. I can't even move on to the next one because I'm hiding it with my big head. There we go. All right, moving on to the second one here. All right, so for our second one here, it says, Greta has a bag full of Lincoln pennies. Wow, that's kind of cool. She says she knows that a Lincoln penny weighs 2.5 grams. The total weight of her bag is 1,320 grams, and I want to know how many pennies does Greta have? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to set this problem up. But remember, you cannot have a decimal as your divisor. Think through what that means. Then I want you to set this up, making that decimal a whole number. Remember what you have to do to the dividend as well. Go ahead and set that up. Give me the expression. Tell me what this would look like if my divisor is not a decimal. If I've made that into a whole number, think about what that does to the dividend as well. Go ahead and give me your answer. How should I set this problem up? All right. Now that you've set that problem up, hopefully you set it up correctly. Let's do it together. So as we are doing this, I cannot have a number as my dividend or my divisor that is a decimal. And in this case, we are going to, because I know I've got 1,320 grams, but that's going to be divided by the 2.5 grams that each penny weighs. And that's going to then tell me how many pennies I have out of the total thing. So I can't have that as a decimal. So what I need to do, need to move that guy one spot over. Oh, man. So that, even that little comma is going to move over here. So our 1,320 now becomes 13,200. We're going to divide that by 25. That's how you should have set your problem up. So 1,300 or 13,200 divided by 25 would be the correct answer to how to set this problem up. And now we are ready to go. So I'm going to see how many times 25 can go into 1, 0. 25 goes into 13, 0 times as well. Still too big. 25 into 132. Now we can do this. Now we just have to figure out how many quarters can go into $1.32 before we have leftovers that aren't quarters. And that would be 5 times. Happen to know that one because 4 quarters is $1, and $1.25 would be 5. 6 of them would be $1.50, which is too much. And I know that's 125. I don't even need to do the multiplication. Just subtract this out. Got to borrow over here. 12 minus 5 is 7. Everything else is a 0, so we're good to go. 7 is less than 25, so we're okay. And we're going to move by dropping down our next digit. 25 into 70. Well, if we think quarters again, 3 quarters is 75 cents, but that's a little too much. Let's do 2 quarters. 2 quarters is 50 cents. Get 20 left over, which is still less than 25, and I just dropped my 0. Now, 25 into 200, that seems like a lot, but just think about how many quarters make up $2. If 4 quarters make $1, well, $8 make $2. 8 quarters makes $2. There we go. Subtract it out. We get 0 left over. So your answer is going to be 528 because your decimal point now has moved to there. It's moved to there as well up top, but that's going to be after our 528. So 528 would be our answer. So we have 528 pennies. There you go. Boom. That's it. Hope that was pretty easy breezy for you. Again, just setting this up like regular long division. Hopefully you're okay with that after yesterday. Just make sure your number on the outside, that dividend, your divisor, it cannot be a decimal. You have to make it a whole number by moving the decimal point. Just do the same thing to your dividend that you do on the outside to your divisor, and you should be able to do long division easy breezy after that. All right, guys, good luck with the independent practice today. It'll be the on your own section. Good luck with that. And then if you're rocking and rolling through that, you should be good to go on your homework more practice. All right, guys, we will see you in the next video.